Hey, what's up guys? Sam here. Welcome back to another video. Hope you're doing well today. Checking out the new features in iPadOS 14 that are exclusive to the iPad, because obviously with iOS 14, Apple is sharing a ton of the new features. In fact, almost all of them between both the iPhone and the iPad. But today I want to check out just the iPad features, just the good stuff Apple is putting on the iPad to make it more comparable to the computer you already have. So if you're excited for the video, drop a like down below, hit subscribe for more, and hey, let's go ahead and check out these features. So if you've ever used a Mac before, this first one should look very familiar. It's Spotlight Search. And what Apple has done here, very similar to many other parts of the operating system, whether it's Siri or the incoming call UI, they were like, rather than having this take up your entire display any longer, what if we minimized it and made it only take up the space it needed to work properly? So Apple did that here, but also added a cool feature where like as you type, suggestions pop up and it'll highlight the first result, so you could just hit enter. It is very, very nice. And one of my favorite things about the Mac is Spotlight Search. I use it constantly every day to find files, to draw from different places, to search different apps. It's amazing. And now Apple's brought that amazing experience to a much better version of Spotlight Search on the iPad. I feel like you can really call it Spotlight Search now because it is a spotlight on what you want rather than just your entire page being taken up. But that's not the only feature that Apple borrowed from the Mac this year. They also took sidebars, which are a great way to organize content in a meaningful way so that it doesn't take a long time to get to where you want to go. I mean, tabs make sense in some cases, but on such a large display, I mean, imagine if all of your apps on your Mac or your computer or your PC had tabs. It wouldn't make that much sense. So Apple said, all right, well, what if we did a sidebar on the iPad now? And that is a much better experience. You see this in Photos, Files, Apple Music, Calendar, Notes, and it is an amazing improvement. Like, there's no other way to say it other than the iOS version on the iPad, even broadly in a lot of parts of iPadOS 13 from last year, felt like it was blown up from the iPhone. Felt like it was the iPhone and half optimized for the iPad. And the addition of these sidebars and support for developers to add these really good looking sidebars makes it feel, well, like it should be on an iPad. Like this is how it should have been from the beginning, and it's an amazing design upgrade. Like finding stuff is just better. And inputting text is a lot better as well if you have an Apple Pencil. A lot of the rest of the improvements have to do with the Apple Pencil and how it works with iPadOS. And the first big one is called Scribble. Now you probably know what this is already if you've been paying attention to the news, but it's pretty sweet. You know how we like to write things, and sometimes that doesn't really transform when you have a tablet. You have to end up typing them or using the on-screen keyboard. You can now write essentially anywhere in any text field right in it. It's very intuitive to the point where I'm blown away at how well it works. I mean, it doesn't look like you should be writing there, and then you write in and it almost does appear like a native writing interface. It is out of this world great. I have to compliment Apple in every facet here because it just works, you write, and it turns into text. That is very, very cool, and it no longer destroys your workflow when you have an Apple Pencil or input things with your hands. Like you can just keep writing and keep moving around and keep using the same tool to do everything. But Apple's included some hidden complexities in here that you might not know about. So you can delete words just by scribbling on them. So just like you can write, you can just scribble over like you would on a paper, but this time it actually disappears because your iPad isn't an actual piece of paper. What about actually being able to select text? Well, you can just draw a circle around it and select text. Easy as that. What about joining things or actually making a space? You can tap and hold to make a space, and then you can write right there. And then to separate words, you can just draw like a line in between two words that are connected. It really is that simple. And if this isn't innovation on the iPad, like finally we've had the pencil for years, I don't know what else would be. And as you could probably imagine, if you can write to text here, where else would this work? Well, there's a new tool in the Notes app that is literally a write to text tool. If you try to draw anything else with it, it just turns it into a random symbol and tries to interpret, the madness that you're putting into the computer to interpret. So if you just draw letters, sentences, words, puts it on there really easily, can even recognize a lot of symbols, and you no longer, if you have poor handwriting, like myself, you no longer have to make it a guess for everybody else around you. Next up, there's also a new feature in iPadOS 14 known as Smart Selection. So if you have a bunch of things that are handwritten, you can basically trace over them and then either copy them as text and paste them somewhere else, or just get a better handle with this really nice, clear, crisp outlining that happens across all of your text or shapes. Where prior you'd have to do like just a circle around your content in general, you can now specifically pick exactly what you want to highlight and copy it as text or do whatever whatever else you want with it. It's a nice improvement there. And I think it's going to be coming elsewhere, especially in third-party apps, but right now you can try it out for yourself inside of Notes. But this next one is my favorite because it allows you to get those shapes you've always wanted to be able to draw and just haven't had the artistic or a mathematic ability to do. So next time you're trying to draw a circle or a star or a square, just stop and pause right when you're about to complete it, and Apple will automatically correct the shape for you, but with the same like vectors and velocity and direction that you drew it in. So I couldn't get this to work. I was like, what am I doing wrong? You literally just have to stop and pause temporarily when you're done, and then it'll show up, which is great. You know, for us non-artists out here, we finally have a chance for somebody else to be able to see what we're drawing. And then finally, there is data detection for handwritten stuff. So if you have a date or a phone number, maybe even an email address, you can now tap on it and create something or do some action with that without having to turn it into text manually in another way. So you just do this and there you go. Like you can create a calendar event from your previously handwritten text. So if you're ever taking handwritten notes, again, like this is just Apple trying to save you time with the Apple Pencil. You can go on and you can get the job done way quicker without having to manually type things in, take it over to a calendar, type it in. It's instant and it's all based on what you've already written. So those are the biggest new exclusive features to iPadOS 14. Honestly, not the largest update, but also not the smallest update either. The sidebars are great, search is amazing, and the new features for the Apple Pencil are amazing for workflow. Like you can just keep writing and deleting and circling and selecting and detecting data, all using the pencil, which is really great. Now, I don't use the pencil that much in general, but I think this could persuade me to possibly do so more than I ever have before. So if you guys enjoyed the video, drop a like down below to seriously help me and the channel out. Hit subscribe for more. I've been Sam, and I'll catch all of you in the next video.